Chosen one, listen closely. What you are about to hear is not a coincidence. If this message has found you, it is because God is preparing something in your life that cannot be explained by chance. For too long, you have carried the weight of waiting, the pressure of lack, and the questions of when your breakthrough will come. But heaven has already written your story, and this is the moment when the hidden begins to surface. This is not just another word of encouragement. This is a prophetic announcement. God is about to flip your finances overnight. What felt impossible will become reality. What looked delayed will arrive suddenly. What seemed out of reach will fall into your hands with undeniable favor. But hear this, your journey into overflow will not happen by chance. Every struggle, every lesson, every quiet season has been preparation. You are being aligned for a shift so powerful, so sudden, that only God Himself can take the credit. Stay with me, because what follows is not theory, not imagination. It is revelation, and if you receive it with faith, it will anchor your spirit and awaken your expectation. 1. A season of unseen shifts. There are seasons in life where everything seems still on the surface. You wake up, go about your day, and it feels like nothing has changed. Bills still come in, prayers feel unanswered, and the waiting stretches on. Yet deep within, your spirit whispers that something is moving, something you cannot yet name. That whisper is not your imagination. It is the quiet signal of a divine shift taking place behind the curtain of your life. Think about the seed buried beneath the soil. On the surface, there is no sign of movement. Days pass, even weeks, and it appears that nothing is happening. But underneath, the seed is breaking, expanding, and reaching for life. What seems invisible is actually the most important stage of growth. In the same way, your financial breakthrough may look delayed, but God is allowing the roots to form before the sprout appears. Many chosen ones find themselves frustrated in this waiting place. You may question whether God has heard your prayers. You may look at others prospering and wonder why you are still stuck. But here is the truth. When God orchestrates a change, He does it with precision. The silence you feel is not absence. It is alignment. Behind the scenes, connections are being set up, resources are being gathered, and opportunities are being positioned in your path. Imagine an orchestra preparing for a performance. Each musician tunes their instrument, each section rehearses, and the conductor silently ensures everything is in order. The audience hears nothing yet. They sit in anticipation. But when the conductor finally lifts the baton, the music bursts forth in perfect harmony. That is what is happening in your life right now. Heaven's orchestra is tuning, arranging, and aligning. Soon, the sound of breakthrough will fill your life in a way you cannot ignore. Sometimes, the unseen shift shows itself through small signs. A chance encounter with someone who offers unexpected encouragement. A random message that stirs your faith. An opportunity that doesn't look like much at first, but will later reveal itself as the key to your next level. These are not coincidences. They are whispers of the greater move God is preparing. Your role in this season is simple but not always easy. Trust the process. Faith is the anchor when evidence is invisible. You may not see the breakthrough yet, but your spirit senses it. That pull you feel, the quiet confidence that something is about to happen, is the Spirit's way of preparing you for what's on the horizon. And when the shift becomes visible, it often happens suddenly. Just like a seed that breaks through the soil overnight, you will look back and realize that what seemed stagnant was actually active all along. God had been moving, arranging, and preparing you for overflow. What seemed like stillness was really set up. So, if you are in a season where everything looks the same, do not be discouraged. You are in the middle of an unseen shift. The silence is not punishment, it is preparation. The chosen do not walk by sight, they walk by faith, trusting that what God has promised is already in motion. And soon, the shift that has been hidden will burst into plain view, undeniable and unstoppable. 2. The lifting of the hidden veil. There are moments when the world feels layered. You see one surface, but behind it, another reality waits. For so long, the chosen have walked with a curtain drawn before their eyes. Blessings near, yet concealed. Opportunities close, yet covered. But the veil does not remain forever. Every curtain has a season when it must rise. And now, heaven is reaching for the fabric that has hidden what belongs to you. Picture a stage before the play begins. The audience sits in silence. The red velvet drape hangs heavy, hiding the story that is about to unfold. No one claps, no one cheers. Yet anticipation stirs. When the curtain lifts, the world behind it bursts alive, and the story begins. This, ye, is what is happening in your life. The veil has not been denial. It has been protection. What God hid from your view was not taken from you. It was reserved, kept safe until the appointed time, because if the promise had been revealed too soon, you might have stepped into it unprepared, or the enemy might have reached for it before its season. Now the hidden is about to be seen. Resources that felt locked away will appear in your hands. Conversations that seemed impossible will suddenly open. Paths that looked blocked will reveal a doorway you never noticed before. You may feel it already, a stirring, a subtle awareness that something has shifted, like the first crack of dawn stretching across the horizon, not full light, but enough to signal that the night is ending. Do not be surprised when answers arrive suddenly. Do not doubt when favor finds you in unexpected places. The veil is not being lowered gently. It is being torn away, and what was once hidden from you will be impossible to ignore. There is a sacred unveiling happening in this season, an unveiling of identity. You are not who you once believed. An unveiling of provision. Your finances will no longer reflect scarcity but abundance. An unveiling of purpose. The assignment you carry will step into full light. The chosen cannot remain hidden forever. God's hand is on you, and His plan cannot be silenced by delay. This is the moment when what was covered is revealed, and what was concealed is released. The veil is lifting, and behind it waits the breakthrough you have prayed for, the overflow you have imagined, the blessing you have been promised. Soon, what was unseen will stand in front of you, undeniable, radiant, and yours. 3. Dual forces at work. Every major shift in the life of the chosen happens through two forces working together. They may look opposite, but in truth, they are partners. One force sustains you, the other reshapes you. One comforts, the other challenges. Together, they prepare you for the breakthrough that is now unfolding. The first force is divine love. This is the foundation that never moves. No matter how uncertain your situation feels, this love anchors you. It is unconditional, steady, and unshaken by your mistakes or delays. Divine love reminds you that your worth is not tied to your bank account, your achievements, or the opinions of others. It says, you are chosen, not because you earned it, but because you were created with purpose. The second force is transformation. While love holds you, transformation stretches you. It is the uncomfortable process of letting go of old habits, old mindsets, and old patterns that no longer serve where God is taking you. Transformation is not always gentle. Sometimes it arrives as disappointment, loss, or closed doors. Yet every moment of pressure is shaping your character, preparing you to carry the weight of blessing without being crushed by it. Think of it this way. Love is the soil. Transformation is the pruning. Without soil, the plant has no nourishment. Without pruning, the plant grows wild, tangled, and weak. Only when both forces work together does the plant become strong enough to produce fruit. You may have noticed this duality in your own life. There are moments when you feel God's comfort, when everything inside whispers peace. At the same time, you may face struggles that push you to grow, forcing you to step into new levels of discipline, courage, and faith. It can feel confusing. How can God be comforting me and stretching me at the same time? But this tension is not contradiction, it is balance. Here is the key. Divine love keeps you from breaking under the weight of transformation. Transformation ensures that love is not wasted on a life that never grows. Both are necessary. Both are active in this season of financial reversal. Why? Because if abundance came without love, you would attach your identity to what you own. And if abundance came without transformation, you would not have the wisdom to manage it. Many have gained wealth, but lost themselves in the process. That will not be your story. For the chosen, God aligns these forces so that when the financial shift arrives, you will carry it with humility, wisdom, and purpose. So when you feel held and stretched in the same breath, do not mistake it for chaos. It is coordination. Love and transformation are not enemies, they are allies. And their partnership in your life is proof that God is preparing you, not just to receive a blessing, but to sustain it. 4. Sudden acceleration. When God decides to move, He does not need months. He does not need years. He does not need to check anyone's calendar or wait for anyone's approval. In one night, everything can shift. In one moment, the story can flip. What you thought would take a lifetime, God can release in an instant. Some of you have been walking in a slow season. Every step has felt heavy. Every door has taken effort. Every breakthrough has come with resistance. But hear this clearly. That pace is about to change. The season of crawling is ending, and the season of acceleration is beginning. Think of Joseph in the prison. Forgotten, hidden, overlooked. But when God's moment came, he went from prisoner to palace in a single day. No long transition, no gradual process. Overnight, he was lifted into the very position he was prepared for all along. That is acceleration. Think of the disciples fishing all night and catching nothing. Hour after hour, empty nets, tired bodies, frustrated hearts. But at the sound of one instruction from Jesus, cast your net on the other side. Their nets overflowed instantly. Years of lack were answered in one supernatural moment. That is acceleration. This is what is about to happen in your life. Where there was lack, there will be overflow. Where there was delay, there will be sudden release. Where there was resistance, there will be divine momentum. And when it happens, it will not follow human logic. People will look at you and wonder, how did this happen so fast? They won't understand, because acceleration is not natural. It's supernatural. Do not underestimate what God can do overnight. A phone call, an unexpected opportunity, a door you never knocked on. It only takes one moment for everything to shift. That's why you cannot quit, cannot give up, cannot lose faith. Because the moment you are tempted to surrender is often the very moment before acceleration begins. This is not about small change. This is about dramatic reversal. Debt wiped out, contracts released, finances flipped. Acceleration doesn't just move you forward, it launches you ahead, past the years of struggle, past the wasted seasons, straight into what God promised. So get ready, stay alert, position yourself as if the breakthrough is already here. Because when acceleration hits, there is no time to prepare. It moves too quickly. You don't get a warning, you get a miracle. And when it happens, your testimony will not be, I worked hard for this. Your testimony will be, only God could have done this so fast. 5. The call to faith. Faith is not built when everything makes sense. Faith is built when nothing makes sense, and yet you choose to believe anyway. There are moments in life when your mind screams one thing, but your spirit whispers another. Your mind says, look at the bills, look at the debt, look at the lack. But your spirit says, look at God, look at His promise, look at His power. In those moments, you have to decide which voice you will believe. Faith is not blind. Faith sees differently. Faith looks past the natural and focuses on the unseen. The chosen ones are not called to walk by what they can measure, calculate, or predict. They are called to walk by the whisper, the inner knowing, the certainty that comes before evidence. It's not easy. Some days you may feel like your faith is hanging by a thread. You may pray and wonder if your words are even heard. You may sow seeds of obedience and wonder if they are wasted. But this is the truth. No act of faith ever goes unnoticed by God, not one. Think of Abraham, promised a son yet waiting decades to see it fulfilled. Think of Noah, building an ark under clear skies while others laughed. Think of the woman with the issue of blood, pressing through the crowd for just one touch. Each of them had to act on what they could not yet see. Each of them had to trust that God's word was more real than their circumstances. You are in that same lineage of faith. You carry the same invitation to believe when it looks impossible, to trust when it feels uncertain, to lean into God's promise even when the evidence around you seems to shout the opposite. And here is the mystery. Faith often senses what the mind cannot grasp. Your spirit knows before your logic understands. That inner stirring, that quiet assurance that something is shifting, that is not wishful thinking, that is faith pulling you forward, preparing you for what's about to unfold. Faith is not passive. Faith is active. It is the decision to keep praying, keep believing, keep expecting, even when results are delayed. It is the courage to say, I will not let go of this promise until I see it. And when faith takes root, it transforms how you carry yourself. You stop walking like a victim of circumstance and start walking like a child of promise. You stop speaking lack and start declaring provision. You stop fearing the unknown and start trusting the unseen. The call to faith is not just about surviving the waiting, it's about preparing for the blessing. Because when God flips your finances, He's not just giving you provision, He's giving you testimony. And faith is what carries you from the prayer to the promise, from the waiting to the fulfillment. So hold on. Even if all you can offer is a mustard seed of belief, it is enough. God does not require you to have perfect faith, only present faith. And the same God who honors the whisper of belief will honor your persistence. Your faith is not in vain. Your faith is not wasted. Your faith is the bridge to the breakthrough that is already on its way. 6. Prepared for overflow. There comes a moment when preparation meets release. A moment when what has been stored up is no longer hidden, no longer waiting, no longer delayed. That moment is now approaching for the chosen, and when it comes, it will not arrive in drops. It will arrive in overflow. Overflow means more than enough. Not barely getting by, not just scraping through. Overflow means your cup runned over. It means you move from asking for enough to live to carrying more than you need so you can bless others. This is the kind of abundance God is preparing you for. Look at the pattern of Scripture. When God fed the multitudes, there was not just enough bread and fish for each person. There were baskets left over. When the widow's oil was poured out, it did not stop until every vessel in the house was full. When the nets were cast on the other side, they did not return with a modest catch. They broke under the weight of overflow. Every time God moves, He exceeds expectation. That same pattern is about to break into your finances. This is not just about paying a bill. This is not just about escaping lack. This is about God demonstrating that He is the source of abundance, and that when He flips your situation, He does it in a way that cannot be mistaken for coincidence. But notice this. Overflow is not random. Overflow is entrusted to the prepared. God has been shaping your heart, strengthening your faith, and stretching your capacity because He does not want the blessing to drown you. He wants it to empower you. The pruning, the waiting, the stretching, all of it has been training for the weight of abundance. This is why your story will be different. Many can receive wealth, but not all can carry overflow. Overflow requires maturity, wisdom, and vision. It is not only about what comes into your hands, it is about what flows through them. The chosen are not called to hoard, they are called to channel. Your overflow will not only lift you out of lack, it will ripple into families, communities, and generations. Do not be surprised when increase shows up suddenly. Do not hesitate when opportunities appear larger than what you expected. This is not the season to shrink back. This is the season to expand. Stretch your faith, enlarge your vision, prepare room for what is coming, because when overflow arrives, it fills the space you have created. And make no mistake, this overflow is not ordinary. It will silence doubt. It will confuse the enemy. It will testify to everyone watching that the God you serve is alive and active. You will not just tell people that God provides. They will see it written all over your life. So stand ready. Stand expectant. Stand prepared. For the chosen, this is not the end of struggle. It is the beginning of abundance. And when the release comes, it will come pressed down, shaken together, and running over. You will step into rooms you never imagined, handle resources you never thought possible, and carry a testimony that no one can deny. You are not being prepared for survival. You are being prepared for overflow. And when it arrives, it will not only change your finances, it will change your future. Chosen one, the season of waiting has not been wasted. The silence was preparation. The pruning was shaping. And now, the moment of release is at the door. God is not only shifting your finances, He is shifting your identity, your purpose, your influence. When the veil lifts, when acceleration begins, when overflow arrives, remember this truth. It was never about your effort alone. It was always about God's hand, God's timing, and God's promise over your life. So walk forward in faith. Expect the sudden. Prepare for the abundant. And never forget, you are chosen for this very moment. The flipping of your finances is not just provision. It is testimony. It is proof that the God you serve moves in power, overnight and without limit.